Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, I'm Mohammed Kashif. I was a student just a few months ago, so I'm helping students to make their life much more easier for IGCSE and A levels. This is the first episode of my Grind Hard series for business studies, IGCSE and A levels, and I hope you guys will enjoy it. Let's get into the intro. Hi guys, so today we are going to start with the IGCC Business Studies Chapter 1 known as Business Activity. It's the basics that every business students need to know to understand the syllabus. So I prefer you guys to listen very carefully and diligently. Also, this topic is in every single syllabus of IGCC, maybe it the Edexcel, OCR and even CIE. So we are going to cover two main things, which is the factors of production and the economic problem. So before we start that, I want to explain what is want and what is need. You could also say as needs and wants. So a need is a good or service which is essential for living, and a want is a good or service which people like to have, which is not necessarily a thing or an essential thing to live or to survive. Okay, so these are just the basic definitions that you would find in any textbook of IGCSE. But if you want me to explain it much simpler, you could say a need is something that is essential for a human to live. You like basic food like rice, water, dal, or whatever may be. Just a basic food is required. That is a need. And another need could be shelter, a house, or a normal hut that a human can survive in. Other is a clothing. Clothing is another need that is very essential, not too fancy. If it gets fancy, if it gets costly, and if it's wasting money, then you would change it as a want. A pizza, a burger, a high class luxury restaurant, full meals, a full dining is called as a want, which is not a basic necessity at all. It's just a craving that every human want to have. It's just saying it's want to have. That is basically what is want, and that is need. So these are the main two things that you need to know before understanding factors of production and the economic problem. Okay, so let's get into what is factors of production. So what the textbook defines in every IGCC syllabus is that factors of production are those resources needed to produce goods or service. There are four factors of production and they are in limited supply. So what are these four factors? Which is land, labor, capital and enterprise. So if I would to explain you in simple terms what these four are, let's first get into land. So land basically refers to those natural resources which is defined as fields, empty lands or minerals which we get from the land, are like oil, gold, diamond, are a plenty profit for many businessmen. So these natural resources are defined as land. So next up is labor. Labor defines as workers, employees in simple terms that everyone will understand, but to make it even more simpler, you could say it which defines a number of people who work for someone or is able to make a product or produce a product is called as labor. So there are many labors, right? Like unskilled labor, skilled labor. Skilled labors are like IT technicians or software developers, software engineers, doctors, etc. Unskilled would be like the carpenters, cleaners, barbers, etc. So now what is capital? Capital is just a word which stands for money, guys. That is what everyone knows and that is just it. Money or cash. But if you want to define it even further to make it simpler for every single one to understand, then you could maybe say finance, machinery and equipment needed for manufacture of goods. It's basically money, guys. Just keep that in mind. Capital which defines is money. So the last thing is enterprise. Enterprise is someone who manages everything to gain profit, which they have a required skill and risk taking ability. So they bring all the factors that I mentioned above together to produce a finished goods or service. That is what enterprise is. So basically, a business owner is called as enterprise, which professionally you could say as an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is a word that you need to use in the next other chapters, so keep that word in mind. It's very, very important. So next up is the economic problem. That is a main issue that many businesses, economics of a country is facing. So basically what economic problem is that it is a shortage or scarcity of goods and service which has not enough factors of production to make all the goods and service that the population needs and want. So what scarcity is basically is that there is a lack of resources or sufficient products to fulfill the total wants of all the population. So there are a big population in a country, right? Like a country like India, China, America, for instance, or even UK. UK is also, yeah, even UK, that is also populated. So all these populated nations, right, they have a lot of wants. So to fulfill those wants, they need to have these factors of production, which I told as land, labor, capital, and enterprise, which is been depleting, which is not enough for all the population to get. So that is why there is scarcity and there is economic problem. So that is why we are having a economic problem, a simple thing, because we have limited resource of land, labor, capital, and enterprise. That is it, guys. That is the simplest way to explain economic problem. So just get that into your head, and that's it for the video. If you want more about this economic problem, it's coming in the next video. Let me just tell you what the topic for the next is. It is about limited resources on opportunity cost and specialization of workers. So let me catch you in the next video. Cheers, guys.